Good morning. Steve Dix has our prayer pledge and four-way test this morning.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for this morning. Thank you for the day. Thank you for the changing of the seasons. Thank you for the greatest gift of all. We look forward to celebrating soon. Lord, thank you for this club. Thank you for its leadership. Bless all the families that are here. Please bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and us to your service. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. First. Is it true? Second. Is it fair to all concerned? Third. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Right.
Thank you, sir. Okie dokie. Do we have any guests with us this morning? I think I recognize all the faces, which is good. That's great. We're going to move into announcements. So I know Chris has got some things to talk about. Hey, settle down back in the back there.
Tell Taylor, be quiet. Okay, two things. First, March Madness for the Rotary Foundation. So I sent out something yesterday that explained kind of the points for each round and how it should work. If you have questions, let me know. It's not too late to fill out a bracket, but you need to do it by about 11 o'clock this morning. The link was in the connector. I sent out how to find it as well in the email. You can go to espn.com and look for their tournament challenge and look for it that way. If you got questions, you can find me after the fact, and I'll try to help you find it. Miss Judy, anything else on that?
That's it.
Okay.
Participate.
Yes,
I
Bob.
found it easier just Googling ESPN Tournament Challenge.
There you go. That was one of the steps. One of the ways you can try to find it. I'll list it. All right, switching hats to barbecue. Tomorrow will be Zoom only. So myself and Brooks will be at Pets in Chattanooga this weekend. So that's where I'll be Friday morning, but we will be on Zoom for barbecue, 7 o'clock. So if you need the link, it's in the connector. If you need it, we'll be glad to send it to you. Let us know. So far, we're at, as far as funds raised, $77,945. Of that, $65,500 is cash. And just to know, that $65,000 is about $12,000 or $13,000 short of where we ended last year. We still got a little time to go. We've got some folks who have told us they're not giving this year, and maybe some that have changed, which of course is fine. So it's not too late to help us out with that, to kind of make up that difference. Again, if you have an idea of a business who we could go talk to about a sponsorship, we'd be happy to do that. If you yourself want to give, I don't necessarily need a check. I just need to know what the amount is so we can kind of put that down. Anything else I'm forgetting about barbecue? Bob, Bill?
Don't forget, Belvin and I went to the School of Rock yesterday. What a great organization. But they are on board, and their kids will help set up and tear down. And I say kids, there'll be some adults in there too. That looks like a long-term relationship with them.
That's fantastic. Anything else about barbecue? It's really close. I'm not even counting the days anymore. It's not a short few Saturdays from this coming Saturday. So we will have, thank you, reminded at the table this morning, we're going to finalize the list for volunteers. So that should be coming out next week so you can sign up. So please be on the lookout for that, because obviously I think we mention this all the time, but this is all hands on deck that are available. Your friends, your family, whoever else you can grab to help us. It takes a lot of effort for this, not only from the months leading up to it, but the day of. So we'll need a lot of help, but hopefully that'll come out next week and we'll have that information.
Thank you. Quick announcement from the district. District 6760 is having their second annual Day of Service, April the 11th. So if anybody knows of anything going on that our club could jump on and help out with, if we want to get together and go pick up trash at the Greenway for a couple hours, they just kind of ask us to do something as a club on that Day of Service. So that's the Saturday after Easter. So y'all just put your thinking caps on with that. I have a couple of exciting announcements. Jackson Matheson and his wife Bethany have a new little daughter. She was born last Thursday, Grace Diana Matheson, and they're calling her Gracie. So yeah, so sweet. And very exciting news, we have the board approved yesterday 2 new member applications, one for Ainsley Ledbetter, who is Chrislin's sister-in-law, and one for Dana Smith, who came and spoke with us a couple of weeks ago about the Relay for Life. So excited to have them come on board as members. So their waiting period will officially start today. So we look forward to inducting them soon. So
And we've got an admin process as you speak.
oh, excellent. Excellent. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And so now, does anybody have anything else before we move on to our speaker? Okay. Paul Martin is going to come and introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Ron. I'm the substitute introducer today because the real introducer has gone down to Chattanooga. So I don't know a damn thing to tell you. So I'm going to tell you what I know. Donna Barrett has been a force here as long as I can remember. Most of you may remember that she was a very effective Tennessee state legislator. She actually saved us money. I mean, it's almost beyond belief, but she was actually known as a budget watchdog and really went in there and got under the hood and cut expenses in our state. She now is the head of the Barrett Group. And what she does is she goes out and she finds opportunities for businesses to save money in their operations. And she helps them become more efficient, more competitive. And as a result, increases the strength of the business communities that locate here in Middle Tennessee. She now has a passion, and that passion is recycling, especially as it relates to our huge problem and huge and growing problem in Rutherford County, our landfill. I'm not going to steal her thunder, but I think what you're going to find today is something that you're just not going to believe. The stuff that she has found out, the opportunities that are actually in the landfill, and what's going on is something that affects us all, especially on a nice warm summer night when we're driving down the road with our window open and we say, oh my God, what's that smell? But most importantly, Donna is Ronnie's husband. He's a friend of ours. He all grew up here in Murfreesboro, started here, employed people, built a business. And the two of them remain, fortunately, Murfreesboroians. How's that? I got it all out. And without further ado, I'd like you all to welcome Donna Barrett.
Yeah, I think giving presentations when you know half the room makes it all the more disconcerting, because you all know when I mess up. Or you usually know more than I know. That makes it even worse. Let me begin by thanking Paul for the introduction. I have worn many hats in this community, and it has been a pleasure to represent Murfreesboro, Rutherford County as long as I have. And part of those hats is what introduced me to recycling. I never thought I'd turn into a tree hugger, but all of a sudden here I am, I guess. As you all know, we have a growing problem with our landfill. However, that landfill was the answer to a problem about 60 years ago. A lot of us can remember when all of our counties had open burn pits. That was the landfill for each county, or in rural counties, even worse, you had it along the sides of the road in a gully, and either the rain washed it down or you come along every now and then and burned it. Well, the EPA came in 68, 69 and said, if y'all don't do something, we will. So the state came along and said, don't do anything. We'll fix our own problem. Hence, we ended up with landfills like we have now that are lined, more properly managed. I know that's an oxymoron with what we've got now, but more properly managed than what we had in the late 60s. Part of that mandate, if you will, from the state when they developed that was, okay, counties, you need to divert 25% of your trash from the landfill. That's your goal. So that's been our goal for the last 60 years, is to do diversion. The problem is everybody was given the role to divert, so nobody diverts. Everybody was given the role to come up with a plan, so nobody came up with a plan. that really actually worked and was implementable. So when we had the landfill fires and things with Middle Point back in the 2000s, I became interested in what all we had, what the laws were, which is about that thick just for landfilling. And that became my passion, if you will. Fast forward, I realized that we really have nothing to help us reach the goal and to connect everybody that's out there for our recycling community. So about 8 months ago, I went to the General Assembly and I said, if you will fund me, I think I can come up with a solution. Give me some money for a pilot program. I'm the board of directors chairman for the Central Tennessee Regional Solid Waste Planning Board. Big long name, meaning we've got 4 counties in Middle Tennessee that we try to meet that 25% goal. If you will give me some time and a little bit of seed money, I can come up with a plan that we can take and fine-tune it here in Rutherford County, Coffee Cannon, and Warren, and then make it a statewide applicable program. So what I'm going to introduce to you today is that pilot program that we have started here in the 4 counties. It will probably be about 6 phases of a program because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that have to be put into place. But this is our face-forward application for citizens to help start with the number one problem we have with recycling, and that is the education aspect of it. So we have developed, and I'm going to introduce to you Recycle Right TM. It is actually recyclerightTN.com. So I want you all to have that in your head by the time we leave and be a part of it. Our mission was to answer the 2 questions. Where do I recycle and what can I recycle? It has been amazing to learn how many folks who don't know the answer to either one of those questions. So our aim was to make it accessible and understandable. I don't want someone to have to go through 16 pages of a website or 2,000 words to figure out the answer to these 2 simple questions when we have so much information biting for our time right now. You want your answer and you want it now. That's today's society. So we're going to start with the question, what can I recycle? You need only ask yourself one question to answer that question. You need to say one thing to answer that question. Check the triangle. Now you're going to go, Donna, what freaking triangle are you talking about? There is a little triangle on most all containers of packaging in your household. We're all familiar with Coke bottles. They now say, please recycle me. On caps, everywhere. But you also have the triangle on, this is the aluminum foil in my house. So I know that this is saran wrap. So my outside box is recyclable. My inside plastic is also recyclable. Your laundry detergent is recyclable. Your Coke bottles or any beverage bottles has a triangle on it with a number in it. It's recyclable. This is just an enlargement of what I just showed you. Your outside wrapping tissue paper is recyclable. The cardboard of your tissue is recyclable. Your favorite ice cream plastic jar is recyclable. And recycling plastic is more than just water bottles. I promise you, from your laundry room to your bathroom and everywhere in between, you will find something in those rooms, plastic or otherwise, that is recyclable. Even your metal cans. This is my starch. This is my spray tan. Every one of them is recyclable. And the average person will have the opportunity between household and personal use, 25,000 cans per year that they can recycle. We're talking about your canned goods. Again, these things like this, your drinking cans. You miss the opportunity if you're not looking on a day-to-day basis to see how much passes through your hands that is actually recyclable. And I know it's overwhelming sometimes to think, computer's not working. It's supposed to work. There we go. All right. So between the advertising, those little triangle that you look for, if you just focus on the top 5, they're so easy to identify and already have locations here that we can recycle. Your paper, your plastic, 1s and 2s, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Cardboard, metal, and glass. They're simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a mixed product or where it's a chair that's got plastic and metal. Bulk items or something different. Just these 5 items alone make up about 75% of the things we throw away, and they're all recyclable. When I indicated the symbols on the packaging, this started with a nationwide company called Info to Recycle. And their whole effort was just to get the packaging people to label things. That's all they do. That was their education aspect. So not only is it to label what can be recycled, they'll tell you what cannot be recycled. All of these items here are a material, usually a combination material, plastic and aluminum or in some other type of filling that is not a recyclable. It's a mixed product, so you can't recycle it. So they'll have on there that this, although it's a plastic, it's not recyclable. It may be the wrong type of plastic. It may be a plastic with a paper, and our systems are not, there we go, a larger one. Our recycling systems are not yet to the point where they can take mixed items and break those down. Here was a Pringles can. I only eat them on vacation, so don't hold it against me. The canister is a multi-layer product. It cannot be recycled. The plastic lid can be recycled. So we had this, but we didn't have anybody teaching everybody that was out there and available. Before we get into this, I want to talk about the plastics. So plastics compose, there's 7 different plastics that are produced out there. 1s and 2s are all that is acceptable right now for recycling because it's an easier product to break down to its lowest common denominator plastic. The clear bottles, anything clear, the bottles, the clamshells, things like that can be made into other bottles. The laundry detergents that I showed you, your thicker plastics, when you think of that laundry detergent, that fabric softener, that colored plastic is recyclable, but into plastic stadium seats, plastic logs. So those 2 are our most popular ones that there's a market out there for that actually makes it worth recycling on a day-to-day basis. And those are number 1s and number 2s. We'll get into all the others with other questions. The interesting thing is to see what happens to the item that you recycle. And I briefly mentioned the plastics, but recycled newspapers become egg cartons. They become recyclable paper plates, cups, and cutlery. They become green sheetrock. We also see the mixed paper can go in, and if you all have owned businesses, so you've seen the industrial size brown paper, hand towels, and just your industrial toilet paper. That's all recycled. So the brown paper can be recycled. The brown hand towels come from cardboard. If cardboard is made back into cardboard, it can be recycled 7 times. If it goes into any other product, it's infinitely recyclable. Let's see. Cardboard, again, these are other things that are made from the cardboard, either paper bags, smaller packaging, or back into cardboards. Plastics, again, the PETs, which are your number 1s, go into new bottles. I actually toured Coca-Cola's bottling plant in Nashville about a month ago, and we all were familiar with when Sprite came out, it was in a green bottle. They changed their marketing. That's now a clear bottle with a green label. The reason being that green, when it is recycled in with the white, makes it a muddied color. So the recycled bottle looks dirty. So in order to be able to reutilize the bottles, they changed the bottles over to clear bottles. The marketing, the community, the businesses keep up with what the market presents. Consumers want more recycling. They changed their product to do that. It wasn't a mandate. They looked at it and said, we want to do more recycling. In order to do that, we're going to have to change what we're doing. And then again, the thicker jugs go into a thicker quality product for use. Glass, infinitely recyclable. It goes into sand. It can be pounded down into sand. That sand then goes into tile. The sand from glass, pound for pound, replaces the sand that we have to take out of the Cumberland River to make tiles. We have 8 tile manufacturing companies in Tennessee. Just in speaking with one of them, he says, Donna, I can take all the glass you can get me. But great, fine, I'm working on it. He goes, bad thing is I need a minimum 9,000 tons. Yeah, I can't get there just yet. But, and that's one. I've got 8. They can take all the glass we can accumulate for them as long as I meet the minimum levels. I'm working on it. The glass includes anything that is food grade. We're not talking your oven bakeware and things like that, but anything you buy at the grocery store in glass, think about it, is recyclable. And then that also can go into crushed glass countertops. This glass also can go into paint to make paint reflective. So the paints we see on the road signs, on the roads, the stripes, can be illuminative, and it would be with glass that they put in the paint product. Now, where can I recycle? I have been amazed at the number of people that did not know, 1, what a convenience center was, or 2, that we even had more than one. But in Rutherford County, we have 14 convenience centers that encompass all around the county. You are within driving distance of a convenience center from anywhere in Rutherford County. We've made it very, very convenient. State only requires 1 per county. We have 14. I will say Haley Road is closed at the moment, and I'm working as fast as I can to get them to open that back up, but this thing called TVA got in my way, so we'll see how we can work with that. Even better than the convenience centers, we have 172 private sector partners. Now, what I mean by private sector partners means it's either a company that their sole purpose is recycling products, for example, Clark Iron and Metal, Mid-10 Metal. Some of the businesses would be familiar with those folks. The others have sustainability programs within their company, and they make recycling opportunities to the public. For example, you can take your batteries to Staples. You can take your plastic bags and plastic wraps and styrofoam to Publix. Neatest story about Publix. I shop there, and I pulled up the car and was bringing out my little, I have 7, I'm obsessive. I have 7 bins, so I separate 7 different things. So I pulled out my little specialties bag for all my styrofoam and produce wrap and things along that line, and brown paper bags. And I'm walking across the sidewalk, pulled right up to the street, and this lady goes in front of me with her cart. And she goes, what are you doing with those? I had all my egg cartons. I go, well, I'm recycling them. She goes, where? I go, right there. I mean, it was between, she walked right between me. I said, right there. There's styrofoam, there's plastics, there's paper. She goes, I've shopped here for 30 years and I never noticed that. But nonetheless, they have it, Kroger has it, and I'll show you a little bit more on the website about what that does. But those 172 private sector partners are regionally. So that's Rutherford, Coffee, Cannon, and Warren. 74 of those 172 are in Rutherford County, service Rutherford County. All right, the website. Let's go to that. I will show you the website in a moment. So not only do we provide information, a database of where you can recycle, if we have extended information on the company, you'll see a link to Mid-10 Metal Exchange. We'll have them up and say these are their hours of operations and what they take. We will also include other information about what they buy and what they don't buy. Same thing with Staples. Large amount of technology or electronics that they take in. So we provide that information as a link to our page for that information to be available. If we have an opportunity for pictures, you'll see this is my wonderful little Publix. These are right out front, right outside the door where you go. Same thing with Kroger's. We know pictures of theirs, but it's right in there where you pick up your buggy. And they'll tell you what all they take, the plastic bags, the outer wrapping, and shipping materials. And what I will say as we identified these individuals, everybody on the website has been thoroughly vetted. they are an end user or their products go to an end user, meaning that it will not go to the landfill. We had the opportunity to add some of our thrift stores. And while a lot of them do good, unfortunately, to thrift stores, there's just some things that get thrown away. It's going to end up in the landfill. And while we do promote those, the purpose of this website alone was this is how we guarantee you utilize these individuals and these items will not go to the landfill. They have another use. They're recycled, reused, or diverted. In addition to our website, we have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter. And no, I don't use Twitter. I just know we have it. And on those pages, we promote other things going on in the community. April the 11th, City of Murfreesboro is having a hazardous waste collection. So until I can get a permanent hazardous waste collection site at all of our convenience centers, we do have these available for folks. So those go out on our Facebook. We try to have something new up 3 times a week, whether it's something informative like this or a fun tidbit or an educational aspect. Well, again, I was telling you the 7 types of plastics and whether or not it can be recycled or just what the breakup is. And actually, styrofoam was the trademarked name of this polystyrene, and it just stuck. So I found that interesting, and I didn't know that it was a number 6 plastic. We also, again, local staples here. This is more education that we give. And it's something you go in further to look to find, not what we're going to just throw out at you. Again, I want to make it simple, and you'll see that in just a moment. And then we provide, when we check on an industry like this, call to recycle. They're the ones we promote for the batteries. It's actually the only national organization that does take them. They go and explain what happens when they break down that battery and where the products go once they're broken down. So we like providing that information to say they're legitimate. We know what's going on with it. And by the way, this is some education that you might find interesting. So I'm going to challenge you. The next time you throw something away, check the triangle first. Let's see. Now let me go to the website and give you a quick introduction to that. All right, this is homepage. I wanted it simple, easy. You pull up, and in 2 clicks, you can be where you need to be. You click on your county. I'm going to go with location centers first. This right here is a database of all the different categories we have of recycling here in Rutherford County. And I'll look at batteries for a second. Lawn care batteries, 10. So we give you not only the name, the link here is GPS. You click on it, and it'll give you driving directions from where you are to that. We give you the hours, the phone number to reach, and what they accept. So all those are in there. And then, so I go back. The convenience centers are also listed in the others. With all of our convenience centers, again, driving directions directly where they are. Click of a button, and you're there, knowing what can and cannot be accepted at each of the locations. And for that, I think I will stand for questions. Okay, we're going to start over here.
At one time, when we talked about, it's come up before with landfills, there's this idea about a large scale recycling production where they're doing more of that, and it's kind of would change to some degree how we might view all this. Is that something that's just too far because of expense, or is that something that's still thought about, or do you know kind of what maybe the status of that is?
What you're talking about is a MRF. It's called a material recovery facility. And they can vary from something that is heavily controlled by AI, artificial intelligence, where they come in and everything gets dumped in and they pick it out. You can do those one of 3 ways. One, you can take all the garbage and run it through a MRF. That's called a dirty MRF. then you'd have to have AI or something to do that because it's all mixed in. The problem you get with that is your materials that are collected or recovered, the ones that are recyclable, are dirty. And the value of those are a lot less than if you can get a clean stream or clean. So I'm not a big proponent of just taking all the trash and running it through a dirty MRF. It's a waste of our time and resources to invest in something like that when we have other things we can do first. The other thing would be a clean MRF or just a recycling MRF, collection center, if you will. That would then be, you'd have to have collection points along the way. And if your city affords it or chooses to do it, that could be curbside recycling, where all the recyclables go in one bin, then they go to the MRF and manually get sorted. We have that in some of our smaller counties. Actually, I was just talking to the solid waste director in Warren County, and they're relatively inexpensive in the grand scheme of things to build something. It's basically a big warehouse where you dump the trucks and you have labor that hand sorts it, then you bale it up, collect it, and as you get enough quantity, the broker will come and buy the material from you. And we have those in a lot of our rural areas simply because they're so far away from a landfill. They either don't have one or they're so far away that it's not, for them, that's more beneficial than trucking it up and sending it 2 hours or 3 hours transportation costs to take it somewhere else. McMinnville, when I was talking to the solid waste director there, they built their MRF for $500,000, and it's going to be about $100,000 a year to operate. They're using inmate labor or trustee labor for that. But I've seen those work in other areas, both here in Tennessee, and I toured Sedona. That's where I really got hooked on the idea of we can do the recycling. They had a facility set up on less than half an acre. Had been running for 25 years. They were self-sufficient with the money they made off of all the products they were collecting. It was a drop-off location, plus they had pickups, and they didn't even have 100% participation from the community. But it worked, and it just made a world of difference, and it was quite successful. And it was in the middle of a neighborhood, and there was no smell. And I've toured those MRFs too. So you either have them outside with just a roof shed over them, or you have them enclosed as a warehouse. They're practical, they make sense. And what you have to realize, this is a commodity we're talking about. First of all, it's a personal responsibility, I think. To throw things away and just forget about it, that's not the right thing to do. It's a personal responsibility. But as a business person, I'm looking at this going, this is a commodity, not only for our community. If you get the quantity up enough, it's valuable to sell. But we have businesses that need this product. For example, in Union City, we have a company that takes old pallets, shreds them up, and he makes fire starter logs from it. So not only are we helping our government community, we're helping our private sector community because they need the products out there. And I think it's a win-win for everybody. Your question.
I know maybe 10 years ago, I listened to a podcast from Planet Money, that's an NPR podcast, and they were saying that domestically we didn't recycle cardboard or plastic. And so glass and metal were really the only ones that actually did what you thought that was happening to them, because China had stopped accepting cardboard and plastic, which is what we sent it over there to be recycled. So sadly, that has changed my view on recycling, because I used to recycle plastic and cardboard. I don't anymore, but that was like 10 years ago. So what's happened recently? And also, where can I get rid of my antifreeze?
Okay. Antifreeze would be the hazardous waste facilities that we have here. You also double check the list. Antifreeze will be on here. We have a location for antifreeze on the database, and I can pull that up after we get through the questions. That article was correct at the time when it comes to plastics. It's never been accurate on cardboard, because we always do most of our cardboard here. We have pulp plants. We have Pratt Industries. We have Georgia Pacific. We have International Paper. We're all familiar with International Paper here, the cardboard maker. Well, they make their own cardboard. This container just takes that finished product and makes it into the boxes that you need. So we have several pulp mills in the southeast area. One in Kentucky with Pratt. Pratt also has one down in Georgia. And I have forgotten where Georgia Pacific is, but they have 2, and I don't know how many International Paper have. But speaking of those, I had conversations with Georgia Pacific, and the gentleman said, "Yeah, I'll do a milk run. You collect it, bale it up, have it stored. We'll send a truck around when I know you've got a tractor trailer load full." And it was going to be like $55 a bale. And I'm going, I need a collection facility. The point is, the people are out there that'll buy it. Now, the value of it is going to change depending on the time of the year. There's actually a secondary index market that we monitor to see what the value is. It's just like a stock market. We look at commodities and things. So we've got a commodities market. And at the times when the volume is high, after Christmas, your cardboard's not going to be worth much because there's so much cardboard running around because of all the supply, the shipping and things that happen at Christmas and all of that. So the money's going to go down a bit. So you just sit on it for a bit till the money comes back up. Plastics, we did send a lot of that to China. So we're having to reinvent that market here. And again, that also depends. Summertime, you have more water bottles than you can shake a stick at. So the price of that's going to go down. So you just sit on it until the market goes back up. Market inevitably goes back up, or historically has. But when it doesn't, then that gives us an opportunity to rethink what we're doing with that. So maybe we don't, our diversion isn't recycling. Maybe then our diversion becomes gasification or energy with it. You can take, what was it they were telling me? We can take the plastics and incinerate those and create energy with it. They actually do that down at Pratt at their paper mill. They take the 1s and 2s that they collect at their centers, send it to the Georgia carpet mills because they shred the 1s and 2s and put that in carpet fibers. The 3s through 7s that they collect, they burn them internally for energy for their plant. So it all stays cyclical. So we have that opportunity with that as well. And things did change. Back to the cardboard. Things did change with cardboard because forever and a day we were told you can't recycle pizza boxes because they're dirty. You can recycle pizza boxes. So, as somebody told me, said, if you bring a pizza box into this facility, if it's got a pizza in it, it goes to the office. If it doesn't, it goes over here. So that was the rules. Yes, ma'am.
Last week I took my shredded paper
Mhm.
to their convenience center and they wouldn't accept it. So do you know somewhere else that, and which I understand why, because I'm sure that makes a huge mess when they're getting ready to transport the bin.
I have to be real careful when I say this.
Okay.
That paper is recyclable. What has probably happened at that center is, so when we take everything to our convenience centers here, they do single stream, which means the paper, the cardboard, and plastics and small metals all go in one bin. I'm not a fan of that, but I can't really say anything about that because they fuss at me when I do that. It's easier if it's clean. You know, the value of it's more. But they put it all in one. They compact it. Well, those small pieces of paper don't compact well. They fly out everywhere. So it depends on the center. I take my recyclables out Manchester Highway, and as long as we open up the plastic bag and dump it in there, they'll take it. You've got a center that just doesn't want to do it, or they've been told by the vendor, the broker, that don't take it because it makes a mess. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
We have someone come to private collection and we pay a fee. It has reduced our trash by 50%.
Mhm.
But are there more companies that you could pay a fee and they come and collect your recycling?
We are trying to locate those, and they're few and far between. Again, it all goes back to this education aspect. And until we get this, I keep telling my convenience centers, I'm going to get the education up. I'm going to get the recycling up. Don't start turning people away. We'll find a way to get it collected. You've got to have the market there. They've got to grow at the same time. Because if they don't, then what you have is Republic. They're the big bad guy in the room, as far as I'm concerned. They'll come in and they'll buy out those little bitty companies, and then they stop recycling. Yeah, because for them, the trash is more valuable than the recycling aspect of it. Yep. But yeah, I'm working on it. Yes, ma'am.
Who's the private service you're using?
Is it one waste?
Yes.
They're about the only ones in town. One waste. Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am.
I have a similar kind of bad news story. I moved here a couple of years ago, 2 years ago or so, and doing the right thing, I loaded up my car, I had my cardboard, I did, whatever.
Mhm.
And I drove out to a convenience center and I said, I've got this recycling. Can you tell me, what goes here and there?
Mhm.
He goes, just throw it all in here.
Oh,
in the
wow.
garbage.
Oh, wow.
And I really, do you want to know about that if it happens? Because
Yes, I do. Because every one of our centers has recycling in it.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with that bit of information at that moment in my life. I'm like,
Hold on. Yes.
do I call the city? Is it, who would I?
Most of the convenience centers are county owned. We only have one that's city. That's the location down on Main Street, and it's not as robust with its recycling aspect of it. They try, but they're just not there yet. But all the other convenience centers are county, so it would be the county that you would call their solid waste department. I'd like to know that information too, because we partner with the county with all of our efforts. So anytime we hear something that is an issue, we work to bring it forward.
At the time, what do you do with that piece of information?
Mhm.
So, and I haven't been back there since because I'm not going to drive out there.
Mhm.
So, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I had an old garden bench and I disassembled it. It had wooden slats in the seat
Mhm.
and it was iron backing it on the side. So I disassembled it and I took it to one of the convenience centers. They took the iron, but they would not take the wooden slats.
Correct.
So what do you do with the wooden slats?
That'd be.
They're still in the back of my car.
If you take it.
Currently, construction and demolition go to the county landfill. I actually am. I'm remodeling our house, so I think I'm on my 5th construction dumpster. So I'm going to have a company called CFC out of Tullahoma come out and sort my bin. I want to see how much that my contractors have thrown in a bin can actually be sorted out and recycled somewhere or another. But unfortunately, for the construction, Swanson's, you guys are more familiar with construction and where all that demolition has to go to, and it just gets landfilled, if I'm not mistaken, on all of that.
So I can just put that down on the street to be picked up?
No, you have to carry it. Yeah, the residential won't pick up something like that. Now, it's pressure treated, isn't it?
I don't know if it is or not. This was a really old bench, so I mean the size of it.
Yeah, if you've got limbs that you're setting out for the city to pick up, if it's all wood and no metal in it,
Yeah, it's all wood.
I could go with that. And nobody tell the city I just said that. Yes.
Just a positive, when I first moved here in '06, anytime I went to the collection center, these old men just yell at me. I mean, it was like, okay, I'll stop coming. But my most recent visits are very nice.
Good. Yes, ma'am.
I'll just tell you, in the We Can Dream About This file, I was in Old Greenwich, Connecticut a couple weeks ago, and they have, I forget what they call it, a resource something or other center. And in this area, which was not a huge piece of property, there was a Goodwill collection container. There was recycling. There was a book shed where people have for years now been bringing their used books. And a woman sorts the kids' books out, brings them to schools. You can take 10 books for free every time you go.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk across the street. They have grabbers. You can grab a box out of the recycling, the cardboard section, load your books in there. It is the most exciting. Somebody needs to just put a coffee truck there. I mean, it was one stop. You just couldn't take your trash there. Everything else you could think of to recycle or swap or whatever was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really exciting to see that happening and being so heavily used.
Mm-hmm.
One quick comment, Jacksonville, Florida, now it's been since '06. when I lived down there, recycling was mandatory
Mhm.
and there was no fee.
Mhm.
But they literally had trash cops. If you put recycling in the regular trash, you got to take.
Mhm.
So I know that's a little bit of oversight, but it worked.
Yeah, and we've seen various examples of what works and what doesn't work in other states and counties and the like. It's just a matter of we're competing with the same tax dollars that everybody else every other department is competing with. So that's why we looked for the private sector partners to see what was out there. And it all goes back to you get the collection up, you make that a valuable commodity, everything else it falls into place. I've got to keep we've got to get the education out there. So.
When I was a kid in Nashville in the 90s, early 90s, we had a truck that would come by and they would throw the glass bottles on one side and the plastics in one and cardboard in one. I thought it was part of the city service. Was that a city service or was that a private thing that was happening? Or has there ever been a city-wide recycling initiative?
There has not been curbside pickup here in Rutherford County or Murfreesboro at all. Transmission fluid can go to O'Reilly's, by the way. You were asking about transmission fluid.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, no, you said antifreeze. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Antifreeze. Now, the city is toying with the idea, but again, it's a cost, and you've got you're fighting for dollars. So, but I still think the bigger thing is we've got the convenience centers and we know the product is out there. Can you imagine how much glass I could collect if every bar and restaurant in this town put aside their glass? And that's how mine started at home. I had a Christmas party and one whole bag was glass. And I'm going, there's got to be a better solution than this. Punch. No, Hawaiian Tropic. But so at home now, I separate out plastic, metal, glass, paper, cardboard. I have my Publix thing, which is my styrofoam. And then I have my specialty, which is things I take to Goodwill. And then I actually have a composter. So I'm all in.
Donna's garage, by the way, is the size of my house.
I'm all in. I don't just preach this and say, hey, we got to do it. We need to do it. It makes sense. Our grandparents did it. Our great-grandparents did it. We just have a generation now that's a throwaway generation. And that needs to change because it's filling up landfills and it's irresponsible. Thank you.
I got a small gifts of appreciation. Got a rotary pen.
Oh, thank you.
And this is a challenge coin with the 4-way test that we recited earlier.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it can make a huge difference. And, with at David's office alone, when we moved offices, the city would no longer pick up our trash. So we had to get a private hauler and they would only pick up 2 cans. Well, they had 3 cans at the old office that were getting picked up twice a week. So we started taking out the plastic and aluminum and cardboard. And now sometimes we don't even fill up 1 can once a week. It's such a huge, and yeah, any given time, my garage looks like a cardboard city. Amazon comes every day to my house. And so we use that Leanna Convenience Center 2 times a week. David will make a run. We do plastic and glass and cardboard, and it really will help if everybody just did a little part. The landfill would get a lot less action. So that's really good. Yes. So, okay. Well, everybody have a great week, and don't forget to sign up do your bracket if you haven't done your bracket for March Madness, and we will see you back here next week. Thank you.